Welcome to the wonderful world of Hoya plants, also known as wax plants for their thick, glossy, and often waxy-looking leaves. Hoyas are a favorite among plant enthusiasts, and it's no wonder why. These climbing or trailing plants are incredibly diverse, ranging from common varieties to some truly rare and exotic species that are highly sought after by collectors. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned plant lover, Hoyas offer something for everyone. In this video, we're diving deep into the incredible world of Hoya plants. From the more common varieties that are easy to care for and can be found in most plant shops to the rare, elusive Hoyas that make dedicated collectors swoon, we'll cover it all. We'll talk about their unique features, their care requirements, and why they deserve a place in your home. Let's begin with the basics, starting with what makes these plants so special before moving into the common varieties and gradually exploring the rare gems. What makes Hoya plants special? Hoyas are known for their stunning, fragrant blooms and their ability to thrive in a variety of environments. What sets Hoyas apart from other houseplants is their durability. Many species can tolerate drought conditions, making them a great choice for both experienced plant parents and those who are still developing their green thumb. The plant's waxy leaves and long, trailing vines make them perfect for hanging baskets or training up trellises. Some varieties even have variegated leaves, which adds another layer of visual interest. The blooms of Hoya plants, often referred to as umbels, are star-shaped and come in a range of colors, from creamy whites to deep reds and pinks. They're not just beautiful. Many Hoya blooms emit a strong, sweet fragrance that fills a room, making them even more delightful to grow indoors. Another reason Hoyas are so beloved is their longevity. These plants can live for decades if cared for properly, and they often become family heirlooms, passed down through generations. They're truly the gift that keeps on giving. Now, let's move on to the common varieties of Hoyas that you'll most likely encounter in plant shops or nurseries. Common Hoya varieties. If you've heard of Hoyas before, chances are it's because of Hoya carnosa. This is one of the most popular and commonly available species, and for good reason. With thick, waxy leaves that can tolerate drought and clusters of fragrant, star-shaped flowers, Hoya carnosa is a low-maintenance plant that even beginners can handle. The flowers are usually pink with a red center, and they emit a sweet fragrance, especially in the evening. There are also several subspecies and cultivars of Hoya carnosa, like the Hoya carnosa, Crimson Queen, and Crimson Princess. The Crimson Queen has stunning variegated leaves with cream and pink hues, making it a favorite among plant enthusiasts looking for something a little different. Another common variety is Hoya pubicalyx, which is often mistaken for Hoya carnosa because they share many similarities. However, Hoya pubicalyx stands out for its darker green, sometimes even purple, leaves. It's also a fast-growing species, making it ideal for those who want a plant that will quickly fill up a space. The flowers of Hoya pubicalyx are usually a deep burgundy or pink and emit a mild fragrance. This plant is known to thrive in lower light conditions, which makes it a great option for those who don't have access to bright, direct sunlight. However, like most Hoyas, it will bloom more profusely in brighter conditions. Hoya kentiana is another commonly found species, known for its long, narrow leaves that are often green with a slight reddish tint. This plant is perfect for hanging baskets as its leaves cascade down elegantly. The flowers are small, red, and waxy, with a lovely fragrance. This species is particularly easy to care for, making it ideal for those new to Hoya plants. It's relatively tolerant of low light and drought, although it will thrive in bright, indirect sunlight with regular watering. Hoya obovata is a fan favorite because of its unique, almost round leaves that are thick and succulent-like. This plant is a slow grower, but its glossy green leaves, sometimes speckled with silver, make it a real showstopper. The flowers of Hoya obovata are pale pink with a sweet scent. Like most Hoyas, Hoya obovata prefers bright, indirect light and well-draining soil. It can tolerate some neglect, making it a great addition to any home. Hoya australis is another widely available species and is known for its fast growth and glossy, deep green leaves. This Hoya produces clusters of white flowers with red centers, and the blooms have a strong, pleasant fragrance. Hoya australis is an excellent choice for those who want a quick-growing Hoya that can easily climb or trail, depending on how you train it. It's also relatively easy to care for and can tolerate some direct sunlight, making it slightly more flexible in terms of its light requirements compared to other Hoyas. Rare Hoya varieties. Now that we've covered some of the more common Hoyas, let's dive into the rarest species that are highly prized by collectors. These plants can be more challenging to find and care for, but they're well worth the effort for the unique and often spectacular foliage and blooms. Hoya Polyneura, commonly referred to as the fishtail Hoya, is one of the most sought-after rare species. Its leaves are shaped like fishtails, giving it a distinctive look that makes it a standout in any plant collection. The leaves are thin, veined, and green with a slight silver sheen, which adds to its appeal. The flowers of Hoya Polyneura are small and white with a pinkish-red center, and while they are not as fragrant as other Hoyas, the plant's unique foliage more than makes up for it. This Hoya prefers a bit more humidity and consistent moisture than some of the hardier species, so it can be a bit more demanding to care for. Hoya linearis is another rare gem in the Hoya world, and it's easy to see why collectors love it. Unlike most Hoyas, which have thick, waxy leaves, Hoya linearis has long, thin, fuzzy leaves that cascade down in delicate chains. This gives it a very different look compared to other species, and it's particularly well suited to hanging baskets. The flowers of Hoya linearis are small, white, and lightly fragrant, but the real draw of this plant is its beautiful, trailing foliage. It requires a bit more humidity and consistent watering than some other species, so it's best suited for more experienced plant owners. Hoya cordata is a striking species with large, leathery leaves that are dark green with silver splashes. The leaves have a somewhat rough texture, which contrasts nicely with the smooth, waxy leaves of other Hoyas. The flowers of Hoya cordata are small, white, and fragrant, with a reddish center. This Hoya is a slow grower and can be a bit tricky to care for, requiring high humidity and bright, indirect light to thrive. However, its unique foliage and beautiful flowers make it a must-have for serious Hoya collectors. One of the rarest and most unusual Hoyas is Hoya imbricata. This plant has round, flat leaves that overlap like shingles, creating a unique, layered effect. The leaves are green with silver veining, and they attach themselves to a surface like a climbing vine, making it perfect for growing on a moss pole or trellis. The flowers of Hoya imbricata are small and white, but the plant's foliage is the real showstopper. This Hoya requires high humidity and warmth, making it a bit more challenging to grow indoors unless you have the right conditions. Hoya macrophylla is another rare species that is highly coveted for its large, veined leaves that are edged in white or yellow. The variegated leaves are what make this plant so special, as they provide a stunning contrast to the plant's clusters of small, pink, or white flowers. This Hoya prefers bright, indirect light and high humidity, but it's relatively easy to care for compared to some other rare species. Its striking foliage makes it a great addition to any plant collection, and it's a favorite among those who appreciate variegated plants. Hoya kerry, also known as the sweetheart Hoya, is famous for its heart-shaped leaves. It's often sold around Valentine's Day as a single leaf cutting, but given the right conditions, it can grow into a full plant with multiple heart-shaped leaves. The flowers of Hoya kerry are small and white with a pink center, and while they're not as fragrant as some other Hoyas, the plant's adorable heart-shaped leaves make it a popular choice. It's a slow grower, and like most Hoyas, it prefers bright, indirect light and well-draining soil. Caring for Hoya plants. Tips for success. Now that we've covered both common and rare Hoyas, let's talk about how to care for them. While Hoyas are generally low-maintenance plants, there are a few key things to keep in mind to ensure they thrive. Light. Most Hoyas prefer bright, indirect light. Too much direct sunlight can scorch their leaves, while too little light can prevent them from blooming. If you want your Hoya to flower, make sure it's getting enough light. A spot near a bright window, but out of direct sun, is usually ideal. Watering. Hoyas are semi-succulent, meaning they can store water in their leaves and tolerate some drought. It's better to underwater a Hoya than to overwater it, as they're prone to root rot. Let the soil dry out between waterings, and always use well-draining soil. During the growing season, spring and summer, you can water more frequently, but reduce watering in the fall and winter when the plant's growth slows down. Humidity. While some Hoyas can tolerate lower humidity, most will thrive in a more humid environment. If you live in a dry climate, consider placing your Hoya near a humidifier or misting it regularly. Alternatively, you can group your plants together to create a more humid microenvironment. Soil. Hoyas prefer well-draining soil, such as a mix of cactus soil and orchid bark. This allows their roots to breathe and prevents water from sitting around the roots, which can lead to rot. You can also add perlite or pumice to your soil mix to improve drainage. Fertilizing. Hoyas are light feeders, but they can benefit from a balanced, water-soluble fertilizer during the growing season. Fertilize every 4-6 weeks in the spring and summer, but avoid fertilizing in the fall and winter when the plant is not actively growing. Conclusion. Whether you're just starting out with Hoyas or you're a seasoned collector, these amazing plants offer something for everyone. From the common, easy to care for varieties like Hoya Carnosa to the rare and exotic species like Hoya Polyneura, there's a Hoya out there for every plant lover. With the right care, these plants will reward you with stunning blooms and lush foliage that will brighten any space. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the world of Hoyas. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Happy growing!